Dear reader, I'm Tony and this is Book Text. I have filmed for you my reading habits tag, but first, our word of the day on the theme of reading habits is book-bosomed. Book-bosomed. It's an adjective, the origin of which has been attributed to Sir Walter Scott, and it refers to someone who carries a book with them at all times. Are you book-bosomed? I think I'm book-bosomed. I basically always have a book with me. So there are 11 questions in the reading habits tag. This tag originated with TheBookJazz. Question number 1 is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? Yes, I'm sitting on it. The love seat in the living room, supported by tons of pillows, blankets in the winter, and a ceiling fan in the summer. I also read in bed at the end of the day. Question number 2, bookmark or random piece of paper. The answer to that is yes. I use anything. I have a small collection of actual bookmarks or postcard-sized art that I have used as bookmarks, but sometimes I'll just pick up a book on a whim and get sucked into it and have to stop for whatever reason, an appointment or an alarm goes off or something, and I have to just stop and I grab whatever is around me to hold my place in the book. And sometimes it's a piece of paper, sometimes it's a cat toy, and sometimes it's another book. Yes, I have used a book as a bookmark for another book. Question number 3. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? In a pinch, I can just stop reading. It's not ideal because typically I try to reach the end of a chapter or some other kind of break. Question number 4. Do you eat or drink while reading? I will drink, but I usually can't eat and read simultaneously. Too many things for my hands to do, and I'm a volunteer at the local library repairing books, and especially children's books, and I end up cleaning a lot of food out of books. And one of the rules that we have at the library is you can't guess what the stain or what the crumb is from because it just grosses us out too much. Although I broke the rule once while cleaning a Garfield comic book. I'm pretty sure there was a lasagna stain, and that Garfield would have approved. So I usually don't eat for that reason. Number 5, multitasking, music or TV while reading. Yeah, often I'm listening to classical music while I read, or ambient sounds. I enjoy especially right now in a quarantine, I'm enjoying listening to cafe sounds or library sounds because it helps my mind to focus when there's something else going on, audio-wise. Number 6, one book at a time or several at once? Several at once, always. I read different books for different purposes, and I need a change of pace every once in a while, but I need to still be reading. So, for instance, right now, I'm reading an academic book for work. I'm reading a writing book for my personal goals. I'm reading an audiobook for my morning walks and while I do chores. I'm reading a murder mystery for guilty pleasure. And I'm reading a lighthearted novel for bedtime. I need to have something that's pretty light and cheerful at the end of the day so I don't get a lot of anxiety when I'm trying to fall asleep. Question number 6, reading at home or everywhere? Right now, during quarantine, I'm reading at home. But on a normal schedule, I'll read in waiting rooms or I'll read during my lunch break at work. If I'm traveling, I will read on the plane or listen to an audiobook. Question number 8, reading out loud or silently in your head. I do a bit of both. I'll read out loud, especially if I want to savor the language, and you know how much I love language. Otherwise, I'll read silently. Question number 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? No, but there's a temptation to do it. If there's something that I want to know, I'm dying to find out, and I know that it's about to be revealed, I have to cover the next page so that I can't follow it through with that temptation, and I can't actually read ahead. So I'm tempted to, but I don't. Question 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I used to not care about this. And I've recently started to feel a sort of pride for my bookshelves and how they look. So I try to keep my books like new, but I have a lot of used books in my collection. And for me, the value of those books is what's inside them and not what's outside them. So I am kind of torn between that. I try not to break the spine myself, but if I have a broken spine on a book, to me, that means that it's been loved either by me when I was younger or by someone else, and there's that kind of bond with that person, whether it's a younger version of me or some stranger. It's kind of that book was clearly loved because it was read. Question number 11. Do you write in your books? Short answer, yes. I was trained in my major in my graduate school as an annotator. You always take notes. And sometimes it's just easiest to take it right there in the text. And I also kind of enjoy reading other people's marginalia. I think it was Anne Fadiman who wrote about this in one of her really amazing books about books, that you feel a sense of community, that you're reading with someone else when you can see their notes in the margins. So that's one of the things that I really enjoy about used books. But long answer, I will only annotate certain kinds of books. So my academic books, my self-help books, my classic books, I will write in, especially if they're used and they've already got some writing. I don't feel bad adding to it. But more contemporary books that are kind of just for fun, that I'm not thinking too deeply about, I try to keep those really nice and pristine, especially if I have like pure copies of books. Brand new books or really rare books, really rare editions maybe, I don't write in those. So those are my answers to the reading habits tag. If you would like to answer these questions, I would like to know what your reading habits are, and in fact, if we have anything in common. Remember, there's always another book.